It started subtly, so subtly I almost missed it. I was rushing to get ready for work one morning, splashing water on my face, when I looked up into the bathroom mirror. I blinked, and for a split second, my reflection didn't. It blinked a moment later. I shook my head, blaming it on lack of sleep. It was just a trick of the light, a tired brain playing games. But then it happened again the next day. A yawn that echoed in the glass a full second after my own. A slight turn of my head that the man in the mirror was slow to replicate. The delay grew. What started as a fraction of a second soon became 3, then 5. It was like watching a live stream with a terrible connection. I'd raise my hand to shave, and my reflection would just stand there, staring, before its own hand slowly lifted to mimic the action. The unease that had been a small knot in my stomach was now a cold, heavy stone. I started testing it, making quick, jerky movements. A wave, a thumbs up, a silly face. Each time the figure in the mirror would watch me, its expression blank, before dutifully and belatedly copying the gesture. It felt less like a reflection, and more like a reluctant student mimicking a teacher. Then came the expressions. One morning, while I was brushing my teeth, feeling the usual Monday dread, I noticed my reflection wasn't just delayed. It was smiling. A slow, wide grin that spread across its face while my own was set in a neutral line. The toothbrush fell from my mouth. I stared, my heart pounding against my ribs. The reflection held that unnerving smile for a few seconds before its face went blank, and it resumed its delayed mimicry of my shocked expression. This was no longer about a lag. This was something else entirely. It was sentient. The expressions became more frequent. If I was sad, it might look amused. If I was angry, it would appear calm, almost serene. It was like it was feeding on my emotions, showing me the opposite, mocking me from its silent, glassy prison. I started avoiding mirrors. I'd shower with the bathroom door ajar to avoid the large one over the sink. I learned to knot my tie without looking. I used the dark screen of my phone as a crude reflective surface, anything to avoid seeing him. But you can't avoid mirrors forever. There in car doors and shop windows, and the polished surfaces of elevators. Each accidental glance was a jolt of terror. Sometimes he was just lagging. Other times he'd be smirking or frowning or just watching me with an intensity that made my skin crawl. I tried to tell my friends. I'd say something's wrong with my reflection, and they'd laugh it off. Too much stress at work, man, one said. Maybe you need a vacation, offered another. How could I explain that the person looking back at me wasn't me anymore? That it was an imposter, a copy that had gained a will of its own? They'd think I was losing my mind. Honestly, I was starting to think so too. I spent hours online searching for similar experiences. I found ghost stories, tales of doppelgangers and shadow people, but nothing quite matched the specific, personal horror of my own reflection rebelling against me. The fear was constant. It was a low hum beneath every thought, every action. Sleep offered little escape, my dreams filled with endless hallways of mirrors, each one showing a different, distorted version of me. One with no eyes, another with a screaming mouth, another that was just a dark, shifting silhouette. I'd wake up in a cold sweat, afraid to even open my eyes, terrified of what I might see in the polished wood of my headboard. I felt like I was being haunted by myself. The breaking point came last Tuesday. I had a big presentation at work, the culmination of months of effort. I was a nervous wreck. I had to look presentable, so I couldn't avoid the bathroom mirror. I stood before it, taking a deep breath, my hands gripping the sides of the sink. I looked up, and he wasn't there. The reflection, the lag, the mocking smiles, all of it was gone. It was just me. I looked exactly as I should. My movements were mirrored perfectly, instantly. A wave of relief so powerful it almost made me dizzy washed over me. It was over. The stress, the lack of sleep, it must have been a prolonged hallucination. I laughed, a real, genuine laugh of pure relief. I finished getting ready, feeling lighter than I had in weeks. I aced my presentation. My boss was thrilled. My colleagues congratulated me. For the first time in a long time, the world felt normal again. The sun seemed brighter. The coffee tasted better. I went out for drinks with coworkers to celebrate, and I didn't flinch once when I caught my reflection in the bar's mirror. It was just me, smiling and laughing along with everyone else. I got home late, feeling triumphant. I walked into my apartment, tossing my keys on the counter. And then I stopped. From my bedroom, I could hear a sound. A quiet, rhythmic sound. Thump, thump, thump. My blood ran cold. I wasn't alone. Slowly, silently, I crept towards the bedroom door, my heart hammering in my chest. I pushed the door open just a crack and peered inside. The closet door was wide open, and standing in front of the full-length mirror attached to it was me. Or what I thought was me. He was fully dressed in my pajamas, facing away from me, looking into the mirror. And inside the mirror was the other me, the one from the office, the one wearing my best suit, the reflection. And it was banging on the glass from the inside. Its face was a mask of sheer terror and desperation, its mouth forming silent screams. The person in my pajamas, the one in my room, slowly turned, not towards me, but towards the mirror. It raised a hand and pressed its palm flat against the glass, right over the terrified face of the man trapped inside. And then it smiled. That same slow, wide, chilling smile. It wasn't my reflection that had been lagging. It was me. I was the one who was late. And now he was out. And I'm in here. I'm telling you this story, shouting it at the glass, but all he does on the other side is get ready for his day. He's putting on my clothes, getting my coffee. And soon he'll walk out of the room, turn off the light, and leave me here in the dark. Please, can anyone see me?